have been having here. Now, we have looked at, of course, the Court of Appeals ruling, which has rejected and battled Justice Walter Onogen's plea, would I say, to overturn the ex parte order that led to his suspension in the first place. We've had a feisty conversation on that, and we have even talked about the NJC's petition to, or rather, the NJC giving Onogen and Tanko Mohammed 7 days to respond to the petitions that have been before them, and all the other things associated with that. Now, let's move on to the boycott. If you're just joining us, let me introduce to you the people that we have been talking with in the past few minutes. We have, of course, Asukwamendi Achibong, who is a lawyer. He's a doctor of law. And then we have Aliyu Abdullahi, who is also a legal practitioner, who's been giving us a very interesting perspective to this. It's a great debate, I have to say. So let's move to the boycott. Did you go to court?
Yes, I did actually. In fact, I was at the Federal High Court. I think that was just yesterday. The order was to commence yesterday, right?
Yes,
I was there actually, precisely at Court 7, and I saw a number of colleagues there, you know, at the courts.
Why did you boycott?
Yes.
You know what? My question right now.
Yes.
The NBA gave out a directive asking all lawyers to boycott the courts and all of that. Why did you not respond to your umbrella body? Why did you not, respect your umbrella body and adhere to the directive? Why did you go to court?
I was not going to do that because I have, first and foremost, a duty to my clients first. They come first. You know, I have sworn to actually...
So if the courts go on strike, what would be the fate of your clients? Would you actually say, I have a duty to my clients, even though the courts...
That's a different thing. That's not something within my control, right? If there was a strike...
Is this something in your control?
Yeah, it is actually.
When NBA says there's a boycott, it's within your control. When your parent body is saying you have the right to...
Actually, it's under... Yes, it's under my control, actually. Who are the NBA fighting for, really? Let's come back down to the base. What are they fighting for? We have an NBA whose chairman actually is fighting his own legal battles for money laundering and other charges before. Yes, it's public knowledge. You know, we have people who are billionaires by all standards, billionaires, and we are just people trying to live day by day, get our own daily bread, and you want us to go and fight for billionaires?
Mendy, this was the exact same thing I said to you shortly before we started this conversation. I said to you, there were lawyers who said to us, the people who are making all these directives are billionaires, they're making a lot of money. Why should we, ordinary lawyers who are trying to make a living, we have to boycott and lose the amounts of money that we would have been paid by our clients for going to court? But you said it is all, I mean, you know what, give me your response again to that question. I have asked that question.
The very first thing an attorney has to do is to look at the rules of professional responsibility, the rules of ethics, the rules of the profession. In this instance, the very first thing that one has to do is to say, who is my client? You identify your client. Who do I have a duty to? And your duty is primarily to your client. Now, if I go to court, will a judge sit and hear my case? Now, if there's a likelihood that the judge will sit and hear your case, you have to actually go to court.
I see.
Because your client is the one that...
So the persons who actually have flouted this directive are the judges?
Mind you, even the Supreme Court actually held. They sat, actually.
May I just say here and now that the NBA, that you lawyers are pretty divided on this particular case.
That's true.
You are not united on whether and do you know the reason I'm asking this question? Because some lawyers have continued to say that what the executive has done, I'm not even using the word presidency here, because they are co-equal arms of the government, that is the executive and the judiciary. And now some lawyers have continued to say that the actions of the executive is trying to muzzle, is trying to, would I say, bully the judiciary into doing its will, which is not constitutionally correct because they are supposed to be equals. Now, if you are supposed to be fighting this particular, I don't know what word to use, or high-handedness, pardon me if I can use that word, and you all are not together, then
yeah, and the reason it's not really far-fetched that the lawyers we are not together on this, you know, because we are also not together on the interpretation way that the executive on this issue has done wrong or right. Why? And let me tell you this. One may look to see it the way you are saying it, that the executive actually acted unlawfully, illegally, or maybe out of due process, they didn't follow due process, or something like that. Some people may like to see it that way. And there are some people that will see it different way. And that's one fascinating thing about lawyers. You have one set of lawyers, you have two lawyers, you have different kinds of interpretation of that one same law. Some will see the action of the executive maybe as even more patriotic and even, how will I say, brave, you know, because
according to you,
do you know the thing that people used to miss, most of the lawyers, is separation of two words. You know, two words with totally different meanings and interpretations and definitions. Suspension and removal. They are not the same. But either out of sheer mischief or really from genuinely not really knowing the difference between these two words, people tend to just park it. If you see the analysis on media, on social media, everywhere, they said the executive has removed. They had not, that the constitution has laid the procedures of removal. But I say removal is not the same with suspension. What the executive did was to just suspend him. And suspension is not, you see, suspension is step aside temporarily. Nothing of your rights as a CJN was taken permanently. Step aside temporarily, while removal, on the other hand, which is what the Constitution has contemplated and provided for in the Constitution, and which is what all the lawyers calling the head of the executives are arguing that the executive has done.
But you're saying no, you're just saying
it's not removal. The president or the executive didn't remove the CJN. It's suspension. It's different. Look it up in the dictionary. It's quite two different words.
You wanted to respond to this, so do that.
Here is the thing. We're splitting heads here. The man was suspended. Suspension is alien and foreign to the Nigerian Constitution. There is no powers really there to suspend the Chief Justice of.
Then there is Interpretation Act, which you can rely on.
Hold on, I didn't interrupt you. That there is really no, the laws are not there to suspend the Chief Justice of the Federation of Nigeria. So the president has gone ahead to suspend him, and he's done so based on an ex parte order as provided by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Now that is improper. Now you've also heard Nigerians kind of talk about the failure to abide by due process, okay, taking this issue first to the National Judicial Council. That also is improper. We did talk about the division amongst the
lawyers, the legal practitioners, yes.
In and of itself, lawyers are naturally divided against each other because people see things differently.
I see.
See what I mean? That is the reason we go to court, for there to be an arbiter of our views of an issue.
I see.
In this instance here, it would have been so much easier and better if the case had been taken to the National Judicial Council. And what is happening now probably would have happened. I'm not a fan of the fact that the Chief Justice of Nigeria postponed indefinitely the sitting of the NJC on January the 15th. He must have his reasons, but I think he should have allowed him to sit, and he should have stepped aside. For the very reason that today we have a different person that was elected to sit over as the temporary chairman of the NJC on this particular issue, you'll find out that our democratic institutions are beginning to grow and become strengthened. The mere fact that the National Judicial Council can issue a petition and ask the Chief Justice of the Federation
you need to answer this.
To answer within an abridged period of time of 7 days.
Of 7 days instead of 14. Because of the case, because of how sensitive this issue is.
Democratic institution. And the mere fact that there is someone, an acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, that has also been asked to answer within 7 days. She goes to show a strength.
So it's both ways. You're trying to balance it. They're trying to balance
this. So it means we have now a precedent. If in the future the Chief Justice of Nigeria is alleged to have done something ethical, improper, we now have a precedent where he will recuse himself as Honorable Justice Ologende, and we will bring in an outside retired former Chief Justice of maybe the Federal Court of Appeal or some other court of high standing within the Federation, and then have them sit over the case.
Interesting. Now, the question, I'm going to move on to another aspect of our conversation, but I want to ask this. The way this has been heated up, some people don't believe Onolen is going to come out of this unscathed. Some people believe, I don't want to use that word, but some people feel if his career was meant to be tarnished by this, and he's not going to come out of this looking squeaky clean. And even if he does come out of this, let's say he's innocent or he is forgiven or there's no dispute on all of the words that you used here, there will still be this stench of suspension shortly before he was meant to retire. Do you believe that? Do you believe that?
I believe, listen, when you suspend a lawyer, it's a serious punishment to the lawyer. Okay? It goes along for the lifetime practice of the lawyer.
Exactly.
Talk less
of a CJN.
A Chief Justice of the Federation of Nigeria. It goes along with him till he dies. Here is the thing.
So could it be that he was trying to protect his reputation that he had worked so many years to build? And this thing, according to him, he said, I forgot, could just end all of that hard work for him.
Here is the thing. He has been given the opportunity to do so by the NJC.
So all of this, let's wait for the NJC.
Yeah. I just want to say something just because in his previous statement he mentioned that it's good that, as an example, that Justice Onoige recused himself from the NJC, maybe it to set a precedent. But I want to just remind him, Justice Onoige didn't recuse himself. He was actually suspended. That was why the NJC was able to be convened. It was Acting CJN Tanko Mohammed who actually recused himself. I just want to set the records clear.
All right, great. Now it's pretty interesting. You're still watching here, Milord on Roots TV Nigeria. Let's go on to the other conversation, which I'm very interested in knowing. Tanko Mohammed has been portrayed as unqualified. His actions by agreeing, accepting to become the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, considering what Onolen is going through, he has been regarded as, some people have said his actions are unethical. I've even read in some paragraphs where it said he betrayed the judiciary by doing that. Some said he played into the gallery of the president for some political goals. And some people have even said, this is a Sharia judge who doesn't know anything. We've even heard some people saying he wasn't called about. That part we already know is not true. And he couldn't have gotten this far if he wasn't called about. We know that part. But then, on various occasions, people have stepped out to talk about the character of the CJN of Nigeria, embattled CJN, suspended CJN, Walter Onolen. But it seems very few people are stepping out to tell us about Tanko Mohammed. People are not even saying to us, this man is a kind. Have you ever met him? I know the number of people who said, have you even met Onolen before? He's this kind of person, he's that kind of person. So, who is Tanko Mohammed? Has he broken any ethical laws by accepting to be the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria under this pretext, under this situation? Or could this man just be a victim of very bad press and lack of PR? That's my question. And I want to, which of you have ever met him?
I have never met him.
I haven't met him.
Which of you know him personally?
No, but I can actually answer those questions very carefully.
Okay. I want to start with you because you may have some level of affiliation with him.
You see, okay, continue.
Who is Tanko Mohammed? At least for the ones we've Googled. Is he qualified or not?
See, I believe you can't actually rise on the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, to get to be the second, the next in line, second highest judge without being qualified. I mean, who are we? Are we a banana republic for we to allow someone to just rise up unqualified? So and in the history of these courts, in the history of Supreme Court, there was no, except perhaps, maybe I think Justice Nikki Toby, who actually came from the academics, you know, to Court of Appeal and then rise and entered the Supreme Court. But all others have actually to rise from even high courts. Now, he had a stint with Sharia court, but that is it. He had a doctorate.
May I ask a question? Why do people talk about the fact that he was head of the appeal court in Bauchi, Sharia court? Yes, is that a bad thing?
It's not really, actually. It's just a name. When people hear Sharia law, their minds goes to the 2000 you know, political Sharia, which was introduced by former governor of Zamfara State, which became so, But there has always been a Sharia law. Nigerian law is divided into two or three laws. Let me tell you, there's English law, which we inherited from the England, you know, all the statutes, all, you know, because by virtue of being them being our colonial, exactly, and our local laws. And the local laws are divided into two: our customary laws and the Sharia, or you call it Islamic laws. In the northern part of the country, for example, in the southern part, you have the customary court and the magistrate court, the lower courts, you know, as you're coming up the ladder. In the north, you have the area court, then they are the substitute of the customary court, and so on. Then you have the upper court, then they become, appeals from those courts goes to the Sharia Court of Appeal. It's a validly, it's a court of record in the Constitution. Everything is just the name Sharia doesn't mean that they won't listen to anything.
For us to say that this is a justice who has been a Supreme Court justice since 2007.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So
even before that, I mean 2005 or so.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. You see, there is a promotion of a certain level of negativity when you hear the word Sharia by some members of the public, you know. So when that word Sharia is joined to the Honorable Justice Tanko Mohammed, and he's a Sharia judge, it's meant to project an image of one who is not supposed to be sitting on the Supreme Court of Nigeria, one who is not supposed to be a justice of the Supreme Court. He actually went to law school.
He went to ABU Zaria.
Yes, your alma mater.
He has a PhD in law.
He has a PhD in law, at least I read that part about him.
He was called, but he was admitted to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. In terms of qualification, I believe he was well vetted. Here is the challenge. When you bring the two words together, Sharia,
there is a negative connotation
and
here.
Also taking the oath from the president when the Chief Justice of Nigeria is supposed to be suspended. That's what people are using to attack.
Here's the case also. Some people say nepotism is at play here. I mean, there are so many public posts that the president has given to people from the northern extraction, and all of a sudden, I mean, let's not forget that it took a very long time for Onogan to be even, you know, confirmed, and that it was the vice president that finally confirmed it. And then, so I'm just painting for you, like,
yeah, true, very true. Yeah, and I want to comment on that because
situation like this, some people would say, oh, once again, a person from the northern extraction is becoming the CJN.
Can I answer? Okay.
I think you took the
No, I didn't.
Be quick about that.
You're the one that talked last.
I'm sorry, but I don't see a familial connection between Honorable Justice Tanko and the President of the Federation of Nigeria. But rather, what I do see is that Honorable Justice Tanko acted in a manner that is similar to what a judge in Abia State, Justice Obisike did, and got suspended and then got...
So you're saying what he did is unethical?
What
you believe what he did is unethical? Do you believe what he did is unethical?
I don't believe so, and I'll answer you if you give me the time.
All right, go ahead.
You see,
can you pick that?
yeah. You see, this is it. Justice Tanko Mohammed was the most senior ranking judge besides after Justice Onogen. Now, imagine you see, whatever you would do, if you want to actually give it the test of reasonableness, you have to imagine yourself in the shoes of that person. Imagine you are the one, the executive acting on an order of a court, whether wrongly or rightly is not the question here. But the CJN was already suspended.
And then the next in line takes over.
The Constitution says, for any reason, that the CJN could not function, the next in line automatically gets there. Now, if you are that person, Gloria, and you are invited and you are informed in obedience to a particular court order, the CJN is suspended. No doubt about that. Now, do you allow And you know what the Constitution says. Do you allow the entire arm of government, which now you automatically represents, became with a leadership vacuum? Or will you step forward? Will you step forward to protect what is left of your integrity as an arm of government?
Messiah move. This was a Messiah.
But not only Messiah. No. He did the legal. He did the legal. I think he did the Gloria. He did the legal, the lawful thing. Yes, he did the lawful thing because the Constitution says for any reason, if the CJN cannot function, the Monsignor takes over. And what is there? He is not the one that suspended the CJN.
All right, you know what? You are very correct. Let's wait for the National Judicial Council to make the determination here because they have 7 days to respond to this petition. So that was about 48 hours ago. So the 7 working days have already started counting. This has been a really interesting conversation, and I hope you took out a lot of things, information from this, because this has been a dicey debate. Some for, some against. I mean, you see as represented by my guests right here. What do you decide? What do you think? What do you believe? Please give us your thoughts on the comment section of this video. You have been watching me, Lord. A big thank you to you, Asukobendi Achibong, and to you, Aliu Abdullahi. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you stay right here.
Same here,
on Roots TV Nigeria. My name is Gloria Oji Emode.